Zepbound vacation food tips and mindset tips. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have been on GLP-1 medication the last almost 21 months, losing 93 pounds, and super excited today to talk about something I've become very well versed in, which is Zepbound vacation and GLP-1 vacation. I've done previous videos on like the travel cases for your pens, so I'm not going to talk about that today. I'll link those down in the description link below, as is all of my resources. But if you're looking for the travel case for when you travel for the Zepbound pens, and if you're also, I have that down below, and then also for compounds. So if you're taking your compound vial and then also the needles for that, for the syringes, two separate things. I've got both of those linked down below, and I've tested a ton, so that's not today's video. Today's video, a fabulous group member had posted in my free encouragement group, which I'll also link down in the description link below, talking about how she's gonna be going on a cruise and was super successful at losing weight, but still, like, how do you do Zepbound weight loss and Wegovy weight loss when you're on vacation? I know exactly how that feels. So rewind, I did at the beginning of the summer, went on a lengthy vacation. I went on a 2-week vacation. Homegirl gained some weight. I did. I came back from that trip and I was like, whoa, I gained some weight. But I lost it. I ended up like, I lost it. It was fine. It was great. It was actually very motivating to have a pause when I was on vacation. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, about my experience, strength, and hope. And then also some other group members. I won't say their names. I'll keep it anonymous. But I wanted to chime in with their thoughts too, because they're super helpful. So if you're getting ready to go on a vacation, and you're nervous about it, I want to encourage you and give you some encouragement, as always here at Countess of Shopping. So let's go ahead and dive in. So basically what I had said on the vacation for me over the last almost 21 plus months of being on a GLP-1 was to be intentional. I think that's the bottom line of when I'm on vacation. I want to be intentional. I paid a lot for that vacation, typically. I want to enjoy it. I want to savor it. I want to be present. I don't want to be thinking about anything other than being present with my family. If I'm with my family, present with my family and really enjoying what we're doing, because we've carved out time, and time to me is the most valuable resource, more than money. Time is, and because I can't buy that back. I mean, I can in some capacities, but not in, like, that to me is super important. So being, number one is being intentional when you're on vacation of what your goals are. And for me, I knew I wanted, this is just me, you do you, but this may be the wrong advice, but for me, this worked really well, was I was going to have everything I wanted on vacation. I just was not going to have as much of everything that I wanted on vacation. I was going to try the different ooey gooeys and the gourmet things and the desserts and then the savory foods and the breads and all of it, but in substantially smaller portions, because with Zepbound, I quite frankly couldn't go off the rails. I mean, I can, and I have. I mean, I have a couple of times, and it really, really hurts and does not feel good. I don't do that anymore because it feels so incredibly uncomfortable. The fruit is not worth the root, so to speak. And so that's number one for me is I don't give into the cravings. I enjoy them. I savor. I don't have guilt, no guilt shame combination. I'm being intentional about, I'm going to have these things. And for me, I walked into my vacation knowing that. And so therefore, because I walked in knowing that, I also needed to have emotional management of the recoil that comes with gaining weight on that for me. And some people don't. A lot of group members said how they didn't gain any weight on their trips. I did. I'm special. No, I'm not special. I'm not unique. Just a garden variety person. So being intentional is number one. Number two was I found I really on vacation. And so this person was going on a cruise, which makes it, I think, even easier because you have more access to fruits and vegetables. But for me, I was intentional for our lunch to have like a big salad or something that was very fruit and vegetable focused. And of course, protein focused. You guys know, I have for me 100 to 120 grams, more recently 120 to 125 grams of protein per day. Not on day one and day two of my shot. And I'm on Zepbound 15 milligrams. Some of you who are just starting, you may have so much appetite suppression that's not even in your comprehension. Or if you've just started Zepbound or Wegovy, the other part to that is you may have no appetite suppression. You're like, what the heck? You may just need to get to a higher dose. Don't worry if you haven't had that appetite suppression. But the protein focus for me, so having it, for example, what we typically did is when on our vacation, we could bike because I wanted to have more activity, which I'm going to talk about. But I could have a local salad with a fresh protein. And so I could get some fresh fish on top or fresh seafood or things that were themed with the vacation or fresh barbecue or whatever. Protein with a salad. that worked very well for me. Or fruit, we were near a fresh fruit stand. I rode my bicycle. I felt like the Wicked Witch who had like the bicycle basket, dun, 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 and I would put watermelon in there or fresh fruit each day. I felt very European. So all of our European viewers, I'm like, oh, I was biking to get my fresh fruits each day. And then we would consume them that day and then go the next day to get more fresh fruit. And so number 2 was being very fruit and vegetable focused, in addition to protein, but I could kind of mindlessly eat on vacation. You know how some people just kind of like you meander, you have these dinners and things or lunches or whatever, and it was nice. And so I also did with that, along that umbrella, is I would cut up like watermelon. A huge watermelon is not that many calories. I would have tons of watermelon. And so having big quantities of fruit or vegetables, it just wasn't a big deal if you have access to that on your vacation. You may not, but if you're on a cruise, I'm assuming you might. And so that's an option. Number 3, people talked in the group about alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but I did make all of my non-alcoholic virgin drinks. And I'll link that recipe it's on countessofshopping.com. There's 3 drinks that I would make quite frequently. So I'd still have, but it's only like 5 calories. It was not that many calories in them, as opposed to like alcohol is what, like 100, 150-ish calories per glass. Ish, depending on the size of the glass. So I don't drink alcohol, but maybe, you know, if you want to have that, enjoy that, but be intentional about that. I do know some people, the recoil of that, if they haven't had alcohol in a while, your body does change with GLP-1 medication with alcohol. I shouldn't say let me regeneralize that. People I've observed, I want to be factually accurate here, that may be the case for you, something to look out for, but maybe not also. Okay, next tip. Tip number 4 was moving. I was intentional because I can. Before I couldn't really move as easily. Now I can. I literally just booked a horseback riding trip. And if you guys are OG viewers, you know horseback riding for me, I haven't been able to get on a horse. I've stopped riding for a while. I haven't ridden on a horse for a while because I knew I couldn't because I'd hurt the horse. And now I'm below the weight requirements. So I'm going on my first horseback riding ride here very soon. I'll keep you guys posted. So click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already down below. But I'm really excited to do that. And so that would be my encouragement for you. Tip number 4 on vacation is, what can you do that helps to kind of push to the limits your weight loss? If you've just started, even if you've lost 5 or 10 pounds, that may mean swimming or snorkeling or walking or biking or whatever, insert whatever. But having that victory for me, building esteem is by doing esteemable things. And so by building factually based evidence that I could go biking, I'm like, I am strong because I biked today for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like it helped to reinforce these belief systems and change my belief systems that I can do these things as opposed to not being able to do these things. Because I couldn't do a lot being morbidly obese. It was very hard. And so now I'm like, bring it on. Bring it on. We're planning another trip. And the count's asking me, he's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want? I'm like, bring it all on. I want to do all the physical activity. In fact, they have a big spa where there are, and he's like, you want me to book you a bunch of spa things? Which my husband is so sweet and so fabulous and so thoughtful. And I was like, no, actually I don't. I'd rather do all the outdoor stuff. Let's do all outdoor stuff. So I booked no spa treatments. We'll see if that changes. We'll see. Thine own self be true. I very well may be taking that back, but I'd rather be outdoors. I'd rather be doing a bunch of other stuff. So for tip number 4, what can you do that helps to challenge yourself physically that you feel comfortable with that would also be fun? So for me, biking was fun with my little basket because I could put stuff in it, and that was really the basket made the whole thing. Quite frankly, walking, and it was a great opportunity to kind of get away from my family. I love them. The Count and the Duke are my heart and my soul, but also having some private time by myself and putting in my little earbuds, super helpful. I've got linked on my Amazon list some of my favorite, not crazy expensive earbuds. They're a great price point, and those are helpful for me to listen to podcasts and uplifting things and uplifting music, and also I can put them in and yip yap with my friends too on Instagram. So that was some of my other tips. And then we also continued the thread going back and forth about the vacation, about staying on track of being worried. Previously, I had gone on trips of where I had no self-control. And so this person was talking about not having self-control related to food, which I 100% could understand. I've been on vacations where I could not stop. I would eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And it was something like 6,000 calories. And I'd still keep eating and still would not be satisfied. And I don't have that now because I've really learned like, okay, I'm full and put my fork down. That's what full feels like and complete and seen. Like that feels so awesome and it's so liberating to know what that feels like because I've never felt that way before because of GLP-1 medication, because of Zepbound, because of Tirzepatide weight loss. And so my encouragement for you is my encouragement for you is I didn't experience going off the rails on GLP-1 medication. I have by choice 2 or 3 times and it's been a disaster. I felt so awful. I wanted to throw up. Like literally I put so much food down that it was like ready, like I could feel it right here ready to come barf back out. I would not recommend that. So going off the rails and even doing that, it wasn't like 6,000 calories before. It would be like, no wonder I couldn't lose weight and I kept gaining weight because it would be like 3,000 calories, 5,000 calories, 6,000 calories, a lot, like day after day after day. No wonder I gained a ton of weight, you know? And so for me, it was, I can have whatever I want and reframing that. I can have whatever I want, just the quantity is different. That was a new freedom that came with that. And then it gave me more back power related to food of that I can have this actually. I actually can. And I actually am in control of when I put my fork down. But I'm not going to have as much because I can't. And because I'm living a healthful lifestyle. And for me, the other question that a mentor of mine gives me is, what would that look like for you if that was your life? Like if you are, like for my goals, for example, well, what does that look like living that? And so for me, answering that question, I'm like, okay, well, if someone is 100 pounds down of where I want to be, they know what full feels like, that there's not guilt associated with food, like there's not this unhealthy relationship with food. So therefore, if they eat foods that are off plan, that they really enjoy them. And when I was on vacation, I didn't have a plan. The plan was to eat nutrient-dense foods and proteins and feel what my body was feeling and really apply what I had learned over the last few months. And that's tip number 5. For me, it was being able to practice out the skill set and lessons that I had learned. And that was also very empowering because it's giving me evidence that I do have a healthy relationship with food. This false narrative that I'm not good with food and all these things, that's not true actually. That's a lie. Turns out this whole time I'm GLP-1 deficient and having this medication changed my life and did give me the ability to do what normal people do, which is to stop when they're full, to put the fork down, to eat normal, although there's no such thing as normal, that's a dishwasher setting or a washing machine setting, and to be able to stop. And so it gave me back self-control with that and gave me evidence for that. And that was very, very helpful for me. So shifting my mindset and making that reframe of, yes, I can have these things. There's nothing really off limit. I mean, there's nothing off limits. I mean, basically, you know what I mean? Within the food choices was very, very freeing. Now, when I got back, because of that, I did gain some weight. If someone is not, for me, I was strong enough to be able to have that mental mindset of like, okay, that's fine. Like I enjoyed it. I savored it. And maybe I did go a little too far, but also I didn't because when I came back, I snapped back into eating healthfully. There's not this loss of control. Whereas previously on vacations, I'd go on vacation and then I'd come back from vacation and it would still be off to the races. And I didn't have that ability to stop and start. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like I stopped and started on vacation. It was making selective choices along the way of having pockets of, yeah, I'm going to have the duck donuts. And yeah, I'm going to have the creme brulee for dessert. And yeah, I'm going to have like pasta with fresh seafood on top. Like, yeah, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, and I normally just wouldn't eat those things. I would find enjoyment in other ways. And so for you, I want you to do what's best of where you're intentional, of where you're enjoying it and savoring it. I think that's like the first overarching theme. But so what some other people said, and this is, I've talked about in other videos, of my shot location also dictates my appetite suppression. Go check those out. Click that like and subscribe button. You can go see those. But someone was saying how they gained 0 weight, and they did 2 cruises as they still ate and drank, but they didn't order as much, and they had vodka club soda when they did drink. Someone else said that they were on an 18-day cruise, but they averaged 13,000 steps without even trying. And so maybe wearing one of the wearables, like I have my Oura Ring, I don't have it on right now, I'm charging it, or a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or whatever. On my Amazon shopping list, I have some suggestions on there too, my Oura Ring stuff. But track your steps if you want to, right? If that falls in line. This person also said that the restaurant menus are usually published, so you can plan before you go what you're gonna have. Alcohol may be an issue, so maybe limit that, drinking lots of water. And she was talking about her clothing choices too, how much they had changed over her vacation as well. Someone else says that they've been on several cruises since doing a WEGOVY. They take their shot on their cruise, they take it with you. They focus on having a really good breakfast of eggs and bacon, so they really had protein first thing. That was their helpful tip. And then at lunch, because they had so much protein for breakfast, at lunch they had a salad. And then dinner, they were more mindful of, but they got usually like seafood, fish, shrimp, leaner proteins was there, like having a shrimp cocktail, and then having a soup before they had their main meal, like a vegetable soup, because then that would fill them up before getting their meal. And they would usually have, they would limit the sweet frozen drinks, but they would have 1 to 2 drinks during the week. And then they usually came home about 5 pounds up, but within 3 days it was gone. And that was kind of my choices. Within a couple of days, the weight that I had gained was gone, even though I did gain some weight. Someone says the cruise ships are packed with gyms. And so be mindful of what you're drinking and snacking. Someone else was talking about how they're going for Alaska in 2 weeks and about people taking their shots. Yeah, for me, I have always taken my shot right before my vacation, or I've taken my shot with me on vacation. And that's been awesome. It's been very, very nice. And you talk to your own doctor too. Someone's like, oh, my doctor said to skip it. You do whatever. You can use those travel cases I recommended, or you can just enjoy the vacation not taking it, or you can take it when you get back. Someone else says eat lots of protein, focusing, and you don't have to clean your plate. You don't have to be a member of the Clean Plate Club. I love these. This is why I love my free group. Like, people have such great words of wisdom. Someone says, we went on a 12-day cruise. She didn't gain any weight. It was nice to be able to eat the food and then stop. And that was the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, that was one of the big themes, was being able to stop when you know that you're full and not keep pushing it, even though you do have access to so much food. Another viewer said they walked over 10,000 steps daily. They worked out in the gym daily. They took the stairs a lot. That they personally still track their meals. I didn't, by the way. I did not want to track my calories, and I have been. But this person was saying that they still track theirs, and that made them feel good. And they drank in moderation too. Someone else says they just got back from a 3-night cruise. They drank the wine and the vodka sodas and even a spicy margarita. And they did not have the desserts though. So I think that's cool, by the way. So you like picking and kind of and choosing what you want. Someone else says, enjoy and try not to focus too much on counting, eat the proteins, relax your mind. I think that that's something this person who just said that was saying about relaxing their minds. I would agree that for me, I needed a mental reprieve from thinking about all of this, because it is a lot. Like, making this permanent lifestyle changes over the last almost 21 months, it's a lot. I think about it a lot. I think about it a lot. I talk about it daily on my daily show here, but it's a lot. And so having a mental rest even from that was helpful. So I agree with that. Someone says indulge, savor, and enjoy. I would agree with that. Someone else says about portion sizes, getting the smaller like appetizer plate portion sizes if you're going to the buffet, and that way you go up more. But it was helped her be able to recognize her hunger by having the buffet plates, like the salad plates, as opposed to like a dinner plate. Someone says, I took a week-long cruise. They were on Tirzepatide 2.5 milligrams, the beginning first dose it's either Zepbound 2.5 milligrams or the first dose of Tirzepatide, and they didn't gain or lose anything. They just stayed even. Someone says having a common sense approach, particularly people who are slower losers, that maybe just ignoring the alcohol and focusing in on bites. Someone says that they've lost weight on their cruise, and they've also maintained. The buffet requires self-control, but you can get in a ton of steps on the cruise. It never graced the workout area on the ship, but I did get my steps in. They limited their alcohol. She said, for example, he said, for example, mudslides can have 600 to 800 calories and 50 grams of sugar. So like making better alcohol choices too. Someone says, I've been on 2 cruises, and I eat the same on the ship because you can figure out what your food is in advance. I thought that was a good idea of looking it over, so you can kind of have a general game plan too of like, okay, I have shrimp cocktail because those are lower calories, higher protein, or fish. I have a friend who does not like seafood. They despise it, but they really love chicken. So finding proteins that you love as well. Someone said that their husband was on the cruise and said to this person, we paid for all this food, you need to eat it. And so having that mindset of breaking that false belief too is something else that I've had to work through. Coming and living in a single parent household, of breaking this mindset of wasting has been something I've continuously worked on. And so that comment for me, I can completely understand that, because I've said that too. I've paid for all of this. I'm wasting if I'm not eating it. And recognizing that I don't need to eat everything. The cost benefit analysis of actually not eating the things that I don't want is better. But that has taken a lot. That's not something I can do in like one episode to talk about. Wait, someone else says, I've been on 6 cruises from being on Mounjaro, haven't gained any weight, I didn't eat overall, I really got extra protein to keep me fuller longer. 2, I brought my sugar-free water packets and syrups on hand. Oh, I love that they brought their sugar-free syrups on hand. Ask for items and they usually will get it for you. I love cottage cheese and our server had it for me nightly and in the morning they would give me cottage cheese as well. I love that tip. Another member says, I was on a cruise last month, did not gain much weight, plus all of the walking on the islands and sweating it all out. I think that that's true. Let me just double check for any newer ones. Yeah, so I hope that helps, particularly for cruises. We stayed in a house. I've stayed in a house. I've stayed in a hotel. I've not been on a cruise. I've not been on a cruise. Maybe a cruise will invite me, and I would love to have that. If they invite me and all of the counts and countesses out there, we can go on a cruise together. Putting that out and manifesting that would be fun. But I think the bottom line is the fact that you're thinking about this, I think is evolution. Like that is to me showing somebody who has going on the journey that the fact that you're even thinking about it and being mindful of it is a win right there. And so I want to give you a big high five. So I hope all of this helps. If you want any of the links that I talked about down below, the free stuff, or if you're looking on Amazon and you're like, I want to get the travel case or things like that, they're linked all in the description link below. Your accountability question, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down below. And number 3, our emoji of the day is going to be a boat. Since we were talking about cruises, a boat. And that tells me that you made it this far in the video. So a boat, and that is twofold. People are like, why do you do emoji of the day? 1, it helps me to see your handle every day. I get to know you better, and I'll get to know you. And there's so many viewers that over the last almost 2 full years, like I feel like are really good friends, and I've never met them. I've never actually talked to them in real life. I've talked to them through the comments, and they feel like besties. And then 2, I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought. So my sweet friends, I'm so grateful for our community. And I'm grateful for you. If you're here watching this far, I appreciate you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And most importantly, I'm cheering you on your race, your journey, your victories. You're going to do great things. And I'm so grateful to even have a small part of that. People leave the kindest notes to me in the comments. It literally makes me cry like on a daily basis. Like run to my husband. I'm like, look what someone said. It's so sweet. They're not my victories. I am here just to be but a vessel of encouragement. And so if you've made it this far in the video, please know from my heart to yours, I appreciate you. And I am sincerely cheering you on. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.